All right, since it's raining here and I really don't want to go outside, let me do a couple things that have been on my mind. I think the first one I'm going to do is dealing with a subject I haven't dealt with in a while. It's on swirling. I haven't done a video on swirling because I do believe to me it's a non-issue. Just like on the other side with the black men and SYSBM that date interracially. To me, it's a non-issue. Dating interracially, especially nowadays, is nothing special. You don't get a badge of courage for doing it. You're not a rebel. Now, the guys in SYSBM know that. They know it's a choice. It's just a matter of making another choice, picking another culture and dealing with what comes with it. You're picking another woman from another culture. There's going to be pluses and minuses to picking a woman from another culture. That means you have to adapt. But like Swirling says, adaptation is what men do. Men oppose environment. So to oppose environment, you have to adapt to different environments. That's how come men can go all over the world and be good. Which is why most women are envious of men. 99.9% of women cannot pick up, go to another country, and adapt without some kind of community there to accept her. Same thing with men. Men can go to another culture, whether it's inside the United States or outside the United States, without a community. Biologically, that's the way that we're built. So it's much easier for a black man to date interracially. So once there's restrictions that were lifted, that's how come black men can date out, marry out, if they so desire, 3-to-1. The only thing that holds black men to the black community or to the black race, as we want to call it, our black class, is what? Loyalty. There's nothing holding black men because the role of a man is the same all over the world. If he works hard enough, he can have a woman of any race he so desires. It's really simple. It's already been proven. Look at the scoreboard. With all the laws and all the oppression that are against black men not dating other women of other races, of other cultures, black men still outdate, outmarry their own women. It's a function of biology, which is really why I think that black women badmouth black men. They badmouth black men and tell whatever kind of stories that they tell, blame everything on them. So guess what? Nobody will date him except them. Badmouthing black men never stop black women from getting with black men, even some of the worst of black men. The very man that black women complain about is the very man that can get multiple women to have multiple children by him. Not the best guy, but the worst guy. So evidently, bad-mouthing black men saying they're this, that, or the other hasn't done anything on the ground to discourage black women from choosing those guys. Black men are the only group of men on the planet that is actually suppressed by their own women. It's actually suppressed by their own mothers. So if anybody has any excuse about divesting and not being in the black community, it should be black men. Because being in the community hurts black men more than any other group. It causes you to go to jail more, causes you to have less employment, causes you to have less education, causes you to be in more danger, causes you to die earlier. There's nothing in the black community that helps black boys and black men. All the positives go to the girls. Girls get more education. Girls live longer. Girls get more jobs. Girls get better jobs sometimes. Girls aren't harassed by the police as much. The murder rate for women is like 1/10 of what it is for the men. In the black community, boys are at the bottom of the educational system. There are no positives for black men being in the black community. Yet we still are loyal to it. We still are there. We still marry you. We still marry and mate and date disrespectful women and put up with it. So if it's anybody that should leave Blackistan, it probably is black men, as the educated lames have already said. The best of black men, the ones that do get the majority of black women inside the community, they can get women anywhere and do, even with the odds stacked against them. And that's what the black women are pissed off about. How can these niggas who we deem ain't shit, that are lame, that are not worthy of pussy, can outdate us, outwork us, and cross over a lot easier than we can? And we're the ones in charge of the black community. Something to think about. Now let's get to the women swirlers, which are actually pissing me off, because y'all think y'all doing something special. You guys think that you're crossing over a barrier that makes you heroes, makes you champions, that you're doing something that's so noble that no other group of women can do. You've been able to swirl in this country since you were brought over on a boat. White men don't think it's anything special because they've had access to you for 300 years. Nothing special about black pussy to white men. That's what you don't get. You actually do get it. That's the problem. You do get it. You cross over, you don't get no points. That's how come so few of you actually cross over. Trust and believe. If white men and other kinds of men were rolling out the red carpet, catering to you, fetishizing you, treating you a whole lot better than black men, you'd have crossed over already. That's the lie. That's the lie that's being sold. You think that white men have more resources and more access, that they can't wait to come down to the ghetto or wait to come down to so-called Blackistan and scoop you up. So we have all these swirlers talking about divested black women. We're divested. We're leaving Blackistan. We're not coming back. Black women, you need to leave Blackistan. Cross over, open up your options. If you cross over this rainbow bridge, all these group of men are waiting to marry you and scoop you up and give you the life that you deserve. I got 2 words for that. Bullshit. The percentage of black women marrying out is the same now that it was before Loving versus Virginia. It ain't changed. Why? Because there was never really a law against black women marrying other men. It was never really enforced because the law was never there for you. It was never there to keep white men away from black women. It was there to keep black men away from white women. Admixture has been on the table since 1945, when they figured out that all those GIs bringing those white brides back from Europe was a problem. And the Fabian socialists decided it was high time to assimilate the Negro into the broader population. And if white men really wanted you, when all those black men couldn't find jobs and couldn't support families basically in the 60s, when the United States decided to really fully industrialize, and even then when they turned it into a service economy where white men got the vast majority of the jobs, white men could have easily come down into the community and scooped you up. Women go where the resources are. There is nothing that I've seen with my own peepers in real life or even on paper with statistics that said that white men or other types of men favor you or are willing to come in and scoop you up in great numbers. Even though there's been a campaign for admixture between white men and black women for the last 10 years, and nobody talks about it. Hell, there was an underground campaign to get black women and white men together back, hell, if I could find a recording, this is 30 years ago, where they had actual dating services to get white men and black women together. Dating services, more than one. I know at least 5 of them that I heard of 30 years ago that were actually there to put black women and white men together. Hell, I'm in Los Angeles, where there's a big Latino community. I worked with tons of Latinos. I know tons of Latino men. And the one thing that stuck with me that they tell me all the time, one thing, black women are good for sex, but they're not marriage material. It used to piss me off. It really did. It used to piss me off when I see my Latino friend, my Latino buddy, have 2 and 3 black side pieces, or my Latino buddy have a black girlfriend, but he'll marry a Latina. So now they have to go on a campaign and with commercials and storylines on TV shows to convince the other folks that you are marriage material. Nobody says anything. Black men don't say anything. Scandal went 7 years. Black men barely made a peep about Scandal. Shonda Rhimes has made a career out of putting black women and white men together. You don't see black men lining up with pitchforks and torches to burn Shonda Rhimes' house down. But you see one black male celebrity with one white girl, and y'all lose your freaking mind. You shame every black male celebrity, or every black male period, for even looking at a white woman or looking at another woman of another culture. You just did it with Sin Santana, putting words in her mouth, trying to threaten her career because she said that black men treat her better than her own Latino men. That's all she said. You lost your freaking mind. Black women have whole channels, books, and a whole industry selling themselves to white men. They don't have one channel, not one book trying to sell black men to white women or black men to other types of women. Not one. What you do have is channels saying, hey, black men, make another choice. Even SYSBM are generous by saying, pick the best woman for you. Pick the woman that will accept you. That's really what SYSBM is about. Pick the woman that will treat you the best, regardless of who she is. Not that she has more resources, not that she looks better, not that any of that other stuff. What all it is that get a woman that will actually treat you better and be a better wife for you, period. Stop taking the abuse that you get from your own women, which is something that is embarrassing for black men to actually say. And black men constantly get attacked by not only the women, but also the men trying to shame brothers to stay back on the farm, stay back on the ranch, stay with this woman that you can only half get along with, and they only have half gotten along with for the last 150 years. It ain't nothing new. You've only half gotten along with your woman. And most of that, you only half getting along with your woman is because you didn't have a choice. You couldn't marry out without being in danger. You couldn't marry out without being killed. Back then, the only men that could get away, and only partially could get away with having a woman outside their culture were either celebrities or servicemen. So the number was artificially low. You were forced to deal with your black women. Now that you don't have to, people are upset because there's no longer an electric fence. And instead of getting better, black women are getting worse, which is something I don't understand. And I constantly hear this thing that black women are going to divest. Black women are going to leave. Black women are going to make another choice, and they're going to leave black men behind. Behind where? So you think that you're going to cross over into white America, take white women's men, Latinas women's men, white women and Latina women are just going to stay on the fence and not take the next available man. So you leave the dude, and that dude is supposed to stay there and not have any women or not have access to women just because the black women have left the building. Does that make sense to you? Because I'm constantly getting this thing like black women are the only women that can make a choice. So you think you're going to go on the other side and compete for men, compete for man, for something that white man has historically shown you that he's not going to give you, has shown you that you're not his first choice, that you're going to get a better deal. Not talking about individually, talking about in mass, because that's what you're selling. And by the same token, those women on the other side who have already shown that they will date and marry black men, have already shown that they're willing to have babies and whatever by black men, because the numbers do show it, that they're not going to come back over and get the men that you don't want. They're already getting the men that you don't want. The very men that you don't want are the ones that the white women and the Asian women and the Hispanic women choose. The ones that you don't want. We're not even talking about the ones that you do want. We're talking about the ones that you don't want. They're already choosing those men. And you act like you're doing something. You act like Serena Williams did something special. How many white guys could a Serena Williams get if she was worth $150 rather than $150 million? Huh? Can't hear you. A black man that makes $75,000 can get all the white women he wants. A black man making $75,000 can get all the white women he wants. A black man making $150,000 can get all the white women he wants. If you take an equivalent black man of Serena Williams' stature, let's pick a LeBron James. If LeBron James, well, he probably already has. Well, let's take a LeBron James. How many white women could LeBron James get? How many white women could LeBron James get? Hell, you just had Jeremy Meeks, who's a convict, an ex-convict, and a gangbanger. He got with a billionairess. You have whole shows where it's nothing but white women trying to get hold of black athletes. Whole shows. You have high school black athletes that can't keep white women off of them. These are white women that drive across town just to get to them. You're not doing anything special, black women. You're not doing anything special. The problem is, how come you can't do it better? That is the issue, swirlers. That's what I want to know. How come you can't do it better? If you are so much better than we are, so much better than niggas, so much better than black men, how come you can't do it better? You don't like black men? Kick rocks. Nobody gives a shit. Black men don't give a shit. 70% of the women that follow Crystalline Cares and have black husbands and black boyfriends, they're not even swirlers. Most of the women that support you aren't even swirlers. They ain't married to white men. They're not even, probably half of them probably aren't even dating white men. At least the brothers in SYSBM are already married to women of other races. They just can't show their faces because they're going to get attacked for having women outside of the race. And black men don't consider getting women outside the race anything special. It's not special. You're not doing anything spectacular. I'm a divested black woman. Nobody gives a fuck. That's how come you get on panels with other black women talking about that you're a swirler, that you want to divest, that you want to date white men. They kick you off. Why do other black women kick you off their platforms? Because they're trying to keep black men on the farm, and you're fucking up the game. In fact, this one's getting long. I'm gonna do a part 2 on swirling. And the part 2 on swirling is swirlers, you're fucking up the game. Anyway, this one's gone on long enough as a rant. So you might have to stay tuned for part 2. But this is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.